Chapter 51, Hunting for the Whole Institute. Dou Jing returns the favor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's right, the Warcraft hunting contest. Faced with Xiao Ze's doubts, Wolin nodded affirmatively. You three often go to the back mountain, so you should know how huge the back mountain of Canaan College is, right? It is indeed huge, and there are many Warcraft living in it. Xiao Ze said thoughtfully. He probably knew the reason why the Warcraft hunting contest was held. Yes, because of the unique environment, the Warcraft here reproduces very quickly, and Canaan College is the closest to the back mountain. If it is not curbed, it is very likely that the Warcraft will attack the college. At the same time, the college will not cultivate students into flowers in order to hone their practical ability. While ensuring safety, the Warcraft hunting contest will be held from time to time, allowing all students in the college to participate. Hearing the words of teacher Wolin, Xiao Ze couldn't help but be a little surprised. I didn't expect that Canaan College was so bold that everyone in the college would participate. Originally, he thought that the college only organized elite students to hunt. After all, there are so many students in the outer college, and the number of strong people needed to fully monitor the entire hunting venue can be imagined. The reason why it is irregular is probably because the date of the competition is determined according to the number of monsters. Before the number of monsters reaches the critical value, such a monster hunting competition will be held to greatly reduce the number of monsters. Are you surprised? This is a college-level competition, which is different from the class competition you participated in before, which is just a small fight between freshmen. Because this is the territory of Canaan College, it can ensure the safety of the students. After comprehensive consideration, the college has set it as an activity that all students must participate in. Wolin explained, and then remembered something else. Like the experience in the Black Horn domain after the Warcraft hunting competition, it is a personal choice. Because the Black Horn domain is too chaotic, the academy cannot fully guarantee the safety of students, so this can only be based on personal wishes. If students want to hone themselves, they can apply to the academy, and the academy will make a decision based on the situation. However, under normal circumstances, there will be senior brothers from the inner courtyard to experience together, so safety is guaranteed. Just mentioning the experience in the Black Horn domain, I want to ask what you three think. Xiao Ze looked at Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan and shook his head first. Forget it. I don't need the experience in the Black Horn domain to improve my actual combat ability. Xiao Ze has no idea about the Black Horn domain. Why waste time when you can develop steadily? The Black Horn domain is not Canaan Academy. It is easy to beat the little guy and provoke the old guy. If you take Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan with you, it will be even more troublesome. The Black Horn domain is synonymous with chaos. Meet beauties of the level of Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan. Those Dou Wang and Dou Huang masters will not care about the dignity of the strong and will directly go down to rob. Although Dou Wang and Dou Huang are not common in the Black Horn region, it is hard to guarantee that you will not encounter them. Besides, Xiao Ze's actual combat ability is not bad. It can even be said that the possibility of finding someone with better actual combat ability than him in the entire outer courtyard is very low. Although Xiao Ze rarely fights with humans, he has rich experience in fighting monsters. Previously in the Monster Mountain range, now in the back mountain of Canaan Academy, the monsters he killed with his own hands can form a small hill when piled together. You must know that this is a fierce and insidious monster. With such a record, he can definitely stand out among his peers. Seeing Xiao Ze shaking his head, Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan also refused one after another. Wolin was not surprised. She just asked Xiao Ze and others for their opinions. There is no need to work hard to find Xiao Ze and ask him for his opinions in the future. Well, I won't need to look for you later. As for this Warcraft hunting competition, it will be held in 3 days. You can participate alone or in a team. The upper limit of a team is 5 people. It is generally recommended to form a team so that we can take care of each other. Wolin gave them a brief introduction. The specific rules of the subsequent competition will be announced the day before the competition, but the basic rules are similar. The only difference is the conditions for judging the winner. There was a Warcraft hunting competition held, and the judgment condition was the number of magic cores obtained. You should know that magic cores are not necessarily produced in the body of the Warcraft. Some students who are powerful but unlucky may only get one magic core after hunting 10 Warcraft. Under normal circumstances, it is difficult for freshman teams to rank among the top 10, but in that session, with amazing luck, a freshman team successfully ranked 7th. Received generous rewards. That's right, the hunting competition held by the college also invested money. Unlike the small-scale competition of freshman classes, this is a college-level competition, and the rewards offered by Canaan College are also extremely generous. As long as you reach the top 10, each team can obtain high-level elixirs, fighting skills, and exercises. Of course, if the teams that do not reach the top 10 are willing, the college will also pay to recover the magic cores they hunt. For students, participating in the Warcraft hunting competition is a sure win. The college guarantees safety. Your own strength is exercised. In the end, you can also get benefits. If you are strong, you can also get rewards from the college. Xiao Ze immediately decided to participate and formed a team of 3, trouble teacher Wolan to help report. He himself wants to use these 2 days to break through to the 7-star Great Dou Master. 2 days later, a waterfall in the back mountain. This is the place where they often practice. There is a waterfall, which is conducive to Xiao Ze's practice. At the top of the waterfall, the sun is sufficient, which is conducive to Xiao Xun'er's practice, and there are a lot of herbs growing around the waterfall, which is convenient for Xiao Yan to prepare poisons. Usually the 3 of them practice separately, and they will get together when they are free to satisfy their appetites and enjoy their leisure time. At this time, Xiao Ze sat cross-legged on a smooth stone, feeling the surging dou qi in his body, constantly rushing through his meridians. Almost. Receive all the rewards. Boom. Xiao Ze seemed to have a huge sound of waves hitting the shore. As the energy vortex formed around him, a large amount of heaven and earth energy poured into his body. The breakthrough process went smoothly. It was just a repetition of the previous breakthrough steps. But this time was different, because he received a reward for a greatly improved qualification. He could clearly feel that his meridians were much stronger, and the attraction to the surrounding energy was also improved. There are more subtle and invisible benefits, so I won't go into details. Xiao Ze originally thought that this was the end. Unexpectedly, there are still masters. The Dou crystal condensed in his body has been spinning wildly since it condensed, and the meaning is unclear, but after receiving Xiao Xun'er's advanced reward for promotion to Dou Master, the rotation of the Dou crystal suddenly became meaningful. Xiao Ze looked inside his body and saw the Dou crystal rotating in the Dou Qi cyclone, constantly scattering dots of deep blue light. These lights can fall into every corner of the body. Xiao Ze can feel that these deep blue lights are nourishing and strengthening his body. Although the improvement is weak, it can't withstand the persistent improvement. Originally, the human body is particularly fragile. After being nourished and strengthened by these deep blue lights, Xiao Ze's shortcomings have also been made up. Imperceptibly, day by day, these effects will become stronger and stronger. I would like to ask all readers to read the book. I recommend you to read the book in full now. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you very much. Thank you for the monthly ticket support of Stiha. Thank you very much. Chapter 52: A Different Path. The hunt begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Ze carefully felt the changes brought by Dou Jing. He found that the light blue light spots emitted by Dou Jing were not produced out of thin air. Instead, they transformed the Dou Qi contained in Dou Jing into light blue light spots through some special method. They were used to nourish and strengthen Xiao Ze's body. Using Dou Qi to exchange for physical strength is a sure win. As long as he slightly releases the absorption capacity of Dou Qi cyclone, the consumed Dou Qi can be replenished immediately. The key lies in one problem. Persistent strengthening means that his Dou Qi will be continuously consumed. Xiao Ze experimented and released the absorption capacity of Dou Qi cyclone to fill the Dou Qi vacancy in Dou Jing. After observing for a while, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. The light blue light spots converted Dou Qi, and the amount was still the previous amount. The function is a good function. If the conversion range is too large, it is very likely to make him fall down. It's just like Xiao Yan's Dou Qi was absorbed by Yao Lao. however, Xiao Yan's Dou Qi was absorbed by Yao Lao for Yao Lao's own recovery, and Xiao Yan himself did not benefit, but Xiao Ze is different. Although his Dou Qi was consumed, his body became stronger. It seems that even if I don't use the advanced rewards fed back by Xun'er to break through the Great Realm, the subsequent advanced rewards can also make up for the special rewards. The fighter stage condensed a special Dou Qi vortex for me, and I have benefited greatly so far. The Dou Master stage is an extremely abnormal liquefied Dou Qi and soul strengthening. And this time, Xiao Xun'er's advanced reward can allow my Dou Jing to transform Dou Qi and feed back to my body. It seems that my cultivation system has taken a different path from the traditional cultivation system of the Dou Qi continent. It may be a little special in the early stage, but when it comes to the Great Dou Master stage, the Dou Jing condenses, and it completely embarks on two different paths. Xiao Ze thought to himself, he remembered it clearly, the Dou Jing in the original book is generally prismatic. After breaking through to Dou Ling, the prismatic shape will be transformed into a round bead with 9 spikes on it. Transformed from a diamond-shaped Dou Jing to a sea urchin Dou Jing, every time the Dou Ling level is upgraded by 1 star, a spike will shrink into the Dou Jing, until all 9 spikes are absorbed. It is the peak of Dou Ling. At the Dou Wang level, there is no Dou Jing and no cyclone. Duqi is integrated into the whole body, and the Duqi can appear immediately when the mind moves, no need to work hard to extract Duqi from the Dou Jing, and it can be exerted through the meridians. But the Dou Jing in Xiao Ze's body at this time already has the characteristics of the peak of Dou Ling. Xiao Ze said that his cultivation system is completely different from the traditional one. I wonder what it will be like at the end of this cultivation system. Xiao Ze muttered to himself, and then opened his eyes. The sky was slightly bright, and beams of light were sprinkled through the gaps in the leaves. Have you practiced all night? Yes, brother Xiao Ze, your breakthrough yesterday was quite a big deal. Xiao Xun'er's voice sounded from the side, and she was standing aside at this time. A faint fragrance floated from a distance, and Xiao Yan walked in with a pot of meat porridge. Xiao Ze, have you finished your training? I just cooked a pot of meat porridge. After eating, we will go to the site of the Warcraft hunting competition. Okay, but the three of them enjoyed the hot meat porridge in the morning sunshine. During the period, Xiao Ze shared his own practice experience, which is what they often do. It is not advisable to work in isolation, and there are many benefits to brainstorming. When the three hurried to the site of the competition, Roland hurriedly called them over. I haven't seen you in the past 2 days. Finally, you are not absent. Roland breathed a sigh of relief. The college-level competition has rich rewards. She didn't want Xiao Ze and his group to miss it. With Xiao Ze's strength, he can at least fight for the top 10, and there will definitely be rewards. There is still a little time. I will introduce the rules of the Warcraft hunting competition to you. It lasts for 10 days, and the judging standard is the number of magic cores obtained from hunting. There are 2 points to note. First, the entrances for freshmen and seniors are different, so don't worry about running into seniors. The second point is that the academy does not allow students to snatch spoils from each other. Once discovered, they will be disqualified from the competition immediately. Roland hurriedly introduced, and an old man flew in the air, with gorgeous fighting spirit wings behind him, showing his strength. The time has come, and the Warcraft hunting competition officially begins. As the elder's words fell, a large number of freshmen rushed into the back mountain. This is the location closest to Canaan College, and the level and number of Warcraft are the lowest. At present, the strength of freshmen is far inferior to that of seniors. For such a college-level competition, freshmen are basically just playing soy sauce. Few freshman teams can rank among the top 10 and get rewards. However, this session is based on obtaining magic cores. It is possible to rank among the top 10 by luck. Xiao Ze and the other two looked at each other. Fortunately, the place where the freshmen entered was the periphery. If they were in the middle like the seniors, in this chaotic scene, I'm afraid that there would be students who were killed by the monsters. Xiao Ze stood there and waited for a while, until the crowd dispersed, and then took Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan into the back mountain. There was no need to rush for the 10-day hunting competition. Xiao Ze did not plan to compete with the freshmen for the monsters here. He planned to go deep into the back mountain. After all, the place where the three of Them usually practiced was already in the middle of the back mountain. Soon, the three of them left the hunting range of the freshmen and entered the middle section of the back mountain. The number of monsters here has obviously increased. Monsters and populations have become more common, like the ice spirit rabbit that Xiao Ze had enjoyed before. He was found in the middle section, as a second-level monster. The ice spirit rabbit is in large numbers. If ordinary freshmen encounter it, they will probably be defeated immediately. Only Xiao Ze and the other two can mark them. Whenever you want to eat, just catch a few. Bang bang bang. There is a sound of fighting. Xiao Xun'er looked at Xiao Ze, and Xiao Ze frowned slightly. Although there are many students in Canaan College, the back mountain is even larger, and the probability of the two teams meeting is not high. Go around. Although we can't snatch the spoils from each other, it is also possible to manually eliminate competitors. Xiao Ze did not return to the place where he practiced before. As a water source, the waterfall is still very attractive to monsters, but after Xiao Ze listed it as a place for practice, many monsters went there without returning, and gradually fewer monsters went there. In the dense forest, Xiao Ze controlled his soul perception nearby. Although the range can be expanded, it is not necessary. The more condensed, the more detailed the perception. It can detect some monsters with strong concealment ability and avoid close-range sneak attacks. Roar. Crack. Xiao Ze smashed the neck of the greenwood wolf with a punch, ending its life, and finally did not let it make a sound. This is the leader of the wolf pack they accidentally encountered. Xiao Ze took out a dagger, searched the leader for a while, and finally cut out a light blue magic core, wiped it on the wolf's fur and threw it into the bag. The academy does not allow the use of storage rings, fearing that someone would hide magic cores in the storage ring and try to cheat. Xiao Ze stood up and looked to the side, and Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan were also immediately alert. Are you, freshmen? 5 beautiful figures walked out of the woods. The cool figure in the middle, like a snow lotus on a high mountain, stands proudly and attracts attention. Please read the book. I recommend you to read it now. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you. Thank you for the monthly ticket support of Who Are You _Apshban Nightmare. Succubus pattern cannot be typed. Thank you very much. Chapter 53 Senior Sister Hanyu. Level 4 Magical Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hanyu walked out of the dense forest and saw the scene here, and a trace of surprise appeared in her heart. The second-level magic beast Qingmu wolf usually moves in groups. The three students knew that they were freshmen by looking at their young faces. However, the Qingmu wolf here fell in a group, and the three freshmen were not injured except that they were a little messy. You must know that even the old students have to pay a price for the siege of more than a dozen second-level magic beasts. I am afraid that only those old students who are in the upper reaches of the team strength and have a great fighting master can be safe and sound, but now, there are only 3 freshmen who can do all this. Hanyu couldn't help but feel surprised. This prompted Hanyu to show up. Xiao Ze looked at the 5 girls who suddenly appeared, and his heart tightened slightly. He didn't want to deal with these old students, but now he met them, there was no way. Hello, seniors. We are new students who have just enrolled this year. We don't know the rules very well. Are we too deep? Xiao Ze smiled and casually attributed his appearance in the middle of the back mountain to an accident. I see, but this is also very impressive. Are all the freshmen this year so strong? Hanyu said in surprise, carefully looking at the 3 people in front of him. At this time, Hanyu discovered that the appearances of these 3 people were extremely extraordinary. The 2 girls have their own characteristics, and Hanyu even feels that their appearances are slightly superior to hers. The boy has a restrained aura and a handsome appearance, but the wolf head, which is a circle larger than his feet, is lying down, showing his extraordinary strength. Xiao Ze smiled and said nothing. It's fate to meet you. My name is Hanyu. I wonder what the 3 juniors call you. Hanyu. Xiao Ze had a flash of doubt in his mind. Didn't Hanyu enter the inner courtyard at this time? He couldn't help but glance at Hanyu. She had long, smooth silver hair and wore a silver dress. She had a cold temperament like a snow lotus on a mountain. Just a glance at her gave her a faint sense of alienation. My name is Xiao Ze, and these 2 are my companions, Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan. Xiao Ze introduced himself briefly. The four pretty women behind Han Yu also came up. She introduced herself to Xiao Ze and the others, and her eyes lingered on Xiao Ze. Since you have mistakenly entered the middle area, do you want to join us? Han Yu invited them when she saw that the three of them were weak. I still don't want to. Senior sister Han, you should also have the idea of competing for the top 10 rewards. Xiao Ze pretended to hesitate and shook his head to refuse. If you take the three of us with you, wouldn't it be a burden to senior sister Han Yu? This is really a shame for us. If you refuse too eagerly, it will easily arouse suspicion. This statement also made Han Yu nod her head. She did have ideas about the rewards for this Warcraft hunting competition. The last inner courtyard selection, in the elimination round, she unfortunately met that monster and was eliminated. Entering the inner courtyard 1 year later means lagging behind those monsters in cultivation progress by 1 year. Han Yu must strive for the rewards of the academy so that her cultivation speed will not lag behind them too much. In this case, the three juniors must be extremely careful. Once you encounter a monster that you cannot compete with, you must immediately call for help from the elders. Life is more important than the competition. Han Yu gave an instruction, and then continued hunting with her team members. Xiao Ze watched Han Yu leave, and silently decided in his heart to expand the range of soul perception. Let's go, continue to go deeper. Xiao Ze and the other two are more than enough to deal with the second-level monsters. Even if they encounter a group of second-level monsters, such as the Greenwood Wolf, they can be dealt with without any damage. The appearance of Han Yu made Xiao Ze feel a sense of urgency. Could it be that Xiao Yan's inner courtyard strong list has not yet entered the inner courtyard? If that were the case, the competition would be too much. Although the ranking is determined by the number of magic cores, but the value of magic cores of different levels is also different. The higher the level of the magic core, the more valuable it is. Xiao Ze plans to go deeper and hunt more powerful monsters. On the top of a mountain in the back mountain, two old men sat cross-legged, as if they sensed something special, and opened their eyes. That little guy actually went deep into the back mountain. Does he want to compete for the first place in this competition? It's possible. If he can really hunt a high-level monster, the magic core he gets is enough to keep him in the first place. Then we have to keep an eye on him, so as to avoid any accidents. While the two old men were talking, they flew to the depths of the back mountain, and other elders immediately came to replace them. It is because of the existence of these elders that the academy dares to make guarantees to ensure the safety of the students. Roar! The deafening roar of the beast was the last cry of this third-level monster. Xiao Ze looked at the monster that fell to the ground with a relaxed smile on his face. The third-level monster is equivalent to the great fighting master of human practitioners. For Xiao Ze, it is also easy to deal with. However, Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan can only play auxiliary from the side. It is still a bit difficult for them to face the third-level monster directly. Suddenly, Xiao Ze frowned slightly. What's wrong, brother Xiao Ze? Xiao Xun'er just took out the magic core of the third-level monster and saw Xiao Ze frowning. The fighting here seems to have attracted a fourth-level monster. Fourth level, Xiao Yan said in surprise, and then she became a little worried. Should we leave quickly? Xiao Ze looked at his backpack, which contained magic cores of various sizes and colors. Originally, these magic cores were enough, but Han Yu's appearance made Xiao Ze a little uncertain. Wait a minute, see if we can deal with it, and retreat if not. Xiao Ze thought about it and decided to test it first. The monster was not a flying monster, and he had the flying fighting skill Purple Cloud Wing. In an emergency, he could also take off directly and take the two of them away. A huge demon ape with green fur shuttled quickly between the trees, exuding a terrifying aura. Wherever it passed, birds and beasts all fled. Xiao Ze condensed a water-blue fighting spirit in his hand and swayed it within a radius of dozens of meters. Once the dou qi leaves the hand, it is quickly diluted to the point where it cannot be seen by the naked eye. Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan have already evacuated the battlefield. Within the range covered by the dou qi, whether it is trees or grass, there are faint signs of erosion. This is water-attributed dou qi mixed with the power of the evil poison. Although it is difficult to kill it with the power of the evil poison, but it can also make this fourth-level monster sick for a while, and it is possible that its state will decline or even become weak. The demon ape fell to the ground, took a deep breath, and roared at Xiao Ze, trying to intimidate Xiao Ze, but it was precisely this breath that inhaled some of the evil poison that Xiao Ze had sprinkled before. Xiao Ze was stunned. This monster was too cooperative. Change is visible to the naked eye. The face of the green-haired demon ape turned purple and blue, and its movements were even more direct and stiff. Xiao Ze would certainly not miss such an opportunity. He started with a blue sea vortex, slightly restricting the movement of the demon ape. The water blade mixed in the vortex also has the power of the evil poison. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan and Xiao Xun'er, who were watching the battle from a distance, breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, the two elders who were guarding in secret were also stunned. Please read the book. Now I recommend you to read it in full. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you. Thank you for the monthly ticket support of 1 pillow of remnants of dreams and 1 Kun year of reading XHY. Thank you very much. Chapter 54, Counterattack Before Death. Soaring into the Sky. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A 4th level monster, is it so weak? This was the doubt that emerged in the minds of the two elders at the same time. This is not a fight on the same level. The level of fighting energy displayed by Xiao Ze is at most that of a high-level fighting master, and the 4th level magic beast is equivalent to the spirit fighting level of a human cultivator. But the lightning-fast confrontation just now was really unimaginable. A magical beast at the fighting spirit level would actually be pressed down and beaten by Xiao Ze, a great fighting master. Of course, as the two elders observed carefully, they also discovered that it was not that this 4th level monster was weak. On the contrary, it is ridiculously strong. The energy in this demon ape is extremely full, and its momentum is even more extraordinary. Even among the 4th level monsters, they are at the top. I am afraid that if they take one step further, they will be the 5th level monsters. It is equivalent to the peak of fighting spirit for human cultivators. However, what it faced was a real monster. That kind of invisible and qualityless fighting spirit will be greatly weakened and even enter a weak state once it is contaminated. In addition, he has mastered the proficient fighting skills, and can display them with every move he makes. This led to the initial flash-fire confrontation, with Xiao Ze holding down the demon ape and beating him. Roar! It is indeed a monster at the peak of the 4th level, and its physical fitness is extremely terrifying. Despite the double oppression of the poison state and the restraint of the vortex, he was still able to break through the whirlpool of the blue sea. With red eyes, he rushed towards Xiao Ze. In the middle of the process, he did not forget to roar angrily at Xiao Ze. Xiao Ze could only shake his head at this. This monster still couldn't learn its lesson. How did you get poisoned in the first place? You have forgotten it now, right? Xiao Ze is a person who always controls the poisonous power of disaster around him. Just after breaking away from the poisonous blade of the blue sea whirlpool, the demon ape couldn't wait to take a breath of the poisonous poison in the air. Even a 4th level monster cannot withstand the continuous erosion of this fierce poison. The original burst speed suddenly decreased. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xiao Ze tiptoed, stepped back, raised his hand and saw another whirlpool in the blue sea. However, this time the demon ape learned the lesson wisely, and violent fighting spirit spurted out from its body. It disrupted the surrounding water attribute fighting spirit and broke the vortex in advance. This is also one of the shortcomings of the blue sea whirlpool. Although it can effectively restrain the enemy, there is also a water blade hidden in the whirlpool, which can kill the enemy, but in the condensed stage, the blue sea vortex is particularly easy to be broken by the enemy. Just like this 4th level monster, just by violently releasing the fighting energy in its body, it can interrupt the whirlpool of the blue sea. Xiao Ze fought and retreated, not wanting to compete with the 4th level monster in terms of physical fitness. Xiao Xun'er advanced to the level of Dou Master, giving him an additional accessory binding, currently in Canaan College. The best candidate for binding is naturally Xiao Yan, who has the bloodline of the Taishu ancient dragon royal family. But all this has to wait until entering the inner courtyard. Therefore, Xiao Ze's current physical fitness is not comparable to that of a 4th level monster. After all, it has crossed a large level, and the physical fitness of Warcraft is naturally stronger than that of humans. Under the double superposition, Xiao Ze had no idea of close combat at this time. Even this fourth-level magical beast has been eroded by the poisonous power of the disaster and its condition has declined. Xiao Xun'er and the little medical fairy followed nearby from a distance. When he reached a small valley, Xiao Ze took a glance and found a small stream in the valley. Xiao Ze took another look at the demon ape with red eyes that was chasing after him. Let's get rid of you right here. Xiao Ze is a practitioner of the water attribute. Where there is a water source, fighting skills will naturally be more powerful. The demon ape had just roared and rushed into the small valley, when a whirlpool of blue sea suddenly appeared in front of it. Relying on the stream, Xiao Ze condensed the vortex much faster. Caught off guard, a large piece of hair on the demon ape's arms was shaved off. As if realizing that fighting here was not good for him, the monster wanted to turn around and leave. We're already here, how can we let you go? Xiao Ze secretly thought that the section of stream behind the demon ape also condensed into a blue sea whirlpool. 2 whirlpools surrounded the demon ape. The demon ape repeated its old trick, and violent fighting spirit spewed out from its body. It's a pity that the whirlpool of the blue sea that has been condensed is not so easily destroyed. Seeing that the fighting energy attack had no effect, the demon ape beat his chest angrily. Xiao Ze took advantage of this moment to quickly gather a blue sea vortex where the demon ape was. He has not forgotten that this is an ape-like monster. Rock climbing and wall walking are its strengths. At the moment, I was just frightened by the 2 whirlpools and felt a little at a loss. When it reacts, it will definitely be able to climb the wall and leave. Sure enough, the demon ape also reacted and was about to climb to both sides when a whirlpool bound it in place. The water blade containing the poisonous power of disaster cuts its body. Toxins accumulated crazily, and the demon ape seemed to realize that his life was coming to an end. It started roaring up to the sky. A large amount of cyan fighting energy gathered in its body, and its 2 huge arms hammered wildly at the vortex that bound it. The demon ape took a sharp breath, and its chest and abdomen expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye, while also glowing with a light cyan light. Xiao Ze's brows instantly furrowed, and a faint sense of crisis lingered around him. Is this a desperate counterattack? Roar! The demon ape roared angrily in the direction of Xiao Ze, and the fighting spirit in its chest turned into light blue wind blades, gushing out from its mouth. The overwhelming wind blades swept toward Xiao Ze. Wherever it passed, stones broke and trees collapsed. No wonder this demon ape likes to roar so much. It turns out that its ability is to release wind blades through its mouth. The 2 elders who were guarding in secret had already been ready. They had a more vicious vision and more experienced. It can be seen that this was the counterattack of the demon ape before its death, and the power must be extraordinary. Just as he was about to make a move, he saw a pair of wings suddenly appear behind Xiao Ze. The wings fluttered slightly, and Xiao Ze's body soared into the sky. Flying fighting skills. No wonder this little guy is so confident. It turns out he has such a precious flying fighting skill. He can come and go freely in the face of ordinary monsters. That demon ape is dead. This little guy should definitely take the first place. As the 2 elders secretly communicated, Xiao Ze also completely put an end to the demon ape, took out a huge magic core from its body. Brother Xiao Ze. Xiao Ze, Xiao Yan and Xiao Xun'er, who were watching the battle from a distance, rushed over. Seeing that Xiao Ze was safe and sound, they breathed a sigh of relief. Now we have the 4th-level magic core in our hands. As long as nothing unexpected happens, we will definitely be the first place. Xiao Ze showed the demon ape's magic core to the 2 of them and said affirmatively. Then, they did not take the risk of challenging the 4th-level monsters, but continued to stay in the depths of the back mountain, picking herbs while hunting 3rd-level monsters. Xiao Ze felt that the 3rd-level magic core alone was enough for his team to reach the top. What's more, there is the decisive 4th-level magic core. Even if facing the seniors of Lin Xiuya and Han Yu, Xiao Ze is confident that he can win the first place. After all, it is impossible for them to have the strength of Dou Ling level before entering the inner courtyard. It is naturally difficult to kill a 4th-level monster. Cross-level challenges are not something that everyone can do. Either you are a super genius, or you have mastered advanced fighting skills, or you have special secrets. Please read the book, and now I recommend you to read the book. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you. Chapter 55. The top spot keeps changing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The outer courtyard, which had been silent for 10 days due to the Warcraft hunting competition, gradually regained its vitality on this day. A large number of students left from the back mountain, some with bulging backpacks and full of joy, some covered their backpacks and were dejected. There were also some students waiting outside the venue, who were unexpectedly encountered and could not resist the Warcraft. The elders rescued them and withdrew from the Warcraft hunting competition in advance. As long as the elders rescued them, the team would be disqualified from the competition. One by one, the student teams, led by the instructors, gathered in the large square of the college. A high platform has been set up here, with dozens of inspection sites. As Xiao Ze went deep into the back mountain, it was almost dusk when he returned to Canaan College. Roland saw the figures of Xiao Ze and the other two, and breathed a sigh of relief, and hurriedly called them over. Seeing the bulging backpacks behind Xiao Ze and the other two, she knew that the top 10 were stable. Xiao Ze, you have gained a lot this time. Let's go. The other students have already rushed to the square to inspect the results. A group of 4 people came to the square, which was still crowded with people. Some students who have finished the test are still staying in the square, because they know that the teams that want to compete for the top 10 rewards will definitely not come out early in the morning. The final moment is the highlight. Bai Cheng's team, score 1050, temporarily topped the list. With the announcement of the ranking instructor, the students in the square were in an uproar. This is the first score of over 1000 in this Warcraft hunting competition. Senior Bai Cheng is indeed a celebrity in the outer courtyard. He can actually reach more than 1000 points. More than that. Except for Senior Bai Cheng's team, the highest score of other teams is only more than 800 points, which is more than 100 points away from the second place. It seems that there is no team worth looking forward to next. Have you forgotten that there is also Senior Hanyu? The crowd was talking. Xiao Ze just came to the square and heard the instructor announce a familiar name, but apart from this, there were no other familiar names. Could it be that the students of Lin Xiuya's class have entered the inner courtyard? Otherwise, how could Bai Cheng be ranked first? Xiao Ze listened to the discussions of the students around him and understood. It turned out that Hanyu accidentally met Lin Xiuya in the inner courtyard selection competition last year. As a result, she was eliminated and did not even make the top 50, missing the opportunity to enter the inner courtyard. After learning the whole story, Xiao Ze was relieved. He said hello to cousin Xiao Yu and quietly lined up at the end of the team. At this time, there was a sudden commotion in the crowd. Xiao Ze looked in the direction of the commotion. He found that it was the appearance of a small team that caused the commotion in the crowd. Xiao Ze was not unfamiliar with this team, as he had encountered it before in the back mountain. It was the team led by Hanyu. Even Hanyu looked a little embarrassed and messy at this moment. There were some bloodstains on her silver-white long skirt. Hanyu's temperament, which was originally as cold as a mountain snow lotus, had a hint of murderous aura. When Hanyu arrived, there happened to be no one at a checkpoint, so Hanyu stepped forward. The presence of a beautiful woman can always focus the attention of the crowd. What's more, this beauty is very powerful and is also a celebrity in the outer courtyard. If she hadn't met Lin Xiuya last year, Hanyu would have been practicing in the inner courtyard at this time. Many students are also curious about what kind of results Hanyu can achieve in this competition. Can she beat Bai Cheng and get the first place? Teacher, please do the statistics. Hanyu smiled slightly and said to the female instructor who was reviewing. The female instructor smiled and nodded, and took over Hanyu's backpacks. In addition to the main statistics instructor, there are 2 more responsible for review and supervision. Under the high platform, Bai Cheng's face was a little gloomy. Hanyu's appearance threatened his first place. Especially Hanyu's backpacks, which were about the same size as his. Damn it! Why didn't I go to the inner courtyard with Lin Xiuya last year? I just missed a competitor. Bai Cheng frowned slightly, praying in his heart that Hanyu's score would not exceed his own, and fiddled with the jade string in his hand with some anxiety. In the tense mood of the people, the instructor in charge of statistics finally raised his head. The 2 examiners and supervisors also nodded. Immediately, the paper was handed to the ranking instructor in the center of the platform, who was responsible for the announcement. Hanyu's team, the score is 1260, surpassing Bai Cheng's team and reaching the top. Crack. Bai Cheng suddenly exerted force and crushed the jade string. seeing that his ranking was reduced to second. Bai Cheng's face was extremely ugly. Although there are rewards for the second place, it is far less than the reward for the first place. Hanyu on the platform also smiled with relief. Hanyu, known as the Iceberg Beauty, actually showed such a touching smile. The heartbeat of the students below the stage accelerated, and even some female students could not avoid it. Hanyu saw that the college's celebrities were basically on the list, and said to herself in her heart, "There should be no one who can ride on me, right?" But when she said this, Hanyu couldn't help but think of it in her heart, the 3 freshmen she met in the middle of the back mountain before, especially the boy named Xiao Ze, always made her feel a little concerned. The entire square was plunged into an uproar as students discussed Hanyu's strength and whether he was the best in the outer courtyard. Even Bai Cheng, who was discussed earlier, was forgotten by them. In the attic near the square, a group of old men were looking down at the square below through the window. The leader was Vice Dean Hu Qian. He stroked his beard and looked at Xiao Ze, who was queuing in the square team, and said with a smile, "Is that little guy really so bold? He actually challenged a top-level 4th-order monster. A 4th-order magic core is enough to determine the top of the list." The elders behind him also looked at Xiao Ze with surprise. With the strength of a great dosher, he challenged a monster equivalent to the peak of Dou Ling, and finally succeeded. It really shocked these elders. If it was said that they valued Xiao Ze because of his talent before, then now they valued him because of Xiao Ze's strength. Because Xiao Ze might be at the same level as them in less than 2 years. With such a speed of practice and such talent, it might not take a few years to become a Dou Huang strongman, right? On the square, it was finally Xiao Ze's team's turn, and the one in charge of statistics was a hot female instructor. As soon as Xiao Ze came in front of her, the female instructor stretched lazily as if she was very tired, revealing an amazing arc. "Ahem, please count it for me." Xiao Ze cleared his cough and put several bulging backpacks on the table. Seeing the weight, the 3 instructors were stunned. The instructor with a hot body looked at Xiao Ze meaningfully, with a charming look in her eyes. After opening the backpack, the beautiful instructor opened her mouth wide, looked at the huge magic core on the top, and fell into silence. Not long after, the students who stayed in the square looked at the ranking list. There should be no suspense. Hanyu ranked first. Of course, how can freshmen beat seniors? Look, this year, no freshman team has made it into the top 10. I envy you. I heard that the first prize is extremely generous. Just as the students were waiting for the final result, the hot female instructor ran up to the platform with a trace of shock on her face. The magnificent shock attracted the attention of countless students. Please readers, please read the book. I recommend you to read the whole book. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page. Thank you so much. Chapter 56 set a record. Generous rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The female tutor, who attracted the attention of countless boys, ran to the ranking tutor. Some female students looked at the figure of the female instructor with envy and jealousy in their eyes. Under the spotlight, the female instructor handed the ranking instructor a piece of paper. The instructor glanced at the majestic female instructor without any trace, and then his eyes were attracted by the statistics on the paper. Hiss. He stared at the paper in disbelief, read it carefully, and then raised his head to look at the female instructor. Are you sure there are no statistical errors? There is absolutely no problem. I have counted it twice, and the 2 supervisors next to me have also reviewed it. The female mentor said confidently. I know you can't believe it, and I can't believe it either, but it's true. The ranking instructor took a deep breath and said with a trembling voice. Xiao Ze's team, score 2,675. Reached the top spot. Wow! The whole place was in an uproar. Countless students are talking about that shockingly high score. It's higher than the combined scores of the 2nd and 3rd place players. Even the other instructors in charge of statistics on the high platform looked at the piece of paper posted in the center in shock. Really or not? Can anyone really achieve a high score of more than 2,000? Is this killing all the monsters in the periphery? Or are you just lucky enough to accidentally pick up a high-level magic core? It's incredible no matter how you think about it, whether it's strength or luck. The tutors communicate softly. and they serve as the middle level of the academy. Of course, I know that the academy takes the World of Warcraft hunting competition very seriously. The elders who are responsible for guarding the safety of students are also responsible for supervising and preventing students from cheating. So they know that such a score would be a statistical error. That means how terrifying Xiao Ze's team is. Compared to the instructors who know the academy well, the students are naturally suspicious of this ridiculously high score. Could it be cheating? Bai Cheng's eyes were already red at this time. I originally thought that I would be able to get the reward for second place, but I didn't expect that I would end up in third place. Han Yu was ranked above him, but he could still accept it. After all, he was a strong student in the inner court selection competition last year. But whenever a little-known new team can ride on his head. Isn't this just announcing to the whole hospital that he has been practicing for more than 2 years and is no better than a new freshman? It was like stepping on his face and getting to the forefront of discussions in the academy. The reward reduction and the loss of reputation made by Cheng couldn't help but scream. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How is it possible for a freshman team to score more than 2,000 points? This is definitely something wrong. They must be up to something. Bai Cheng's words immediately attracted the attention of all the students. Bai Cheng was originally close to the high platform, but now he was shouting, which attracted even more attention. The other students actually had doubts in their eyes, but no one was as out of control as Bai Cheng, who stood up and questioned the academy in person. Of course, with Bai Cheng's words, more and more eyes were cast on Xiao Ze, who was sitting on the high platform. Xiao Ze's face was calm, and he could certainly see the suspicion in the eyes of the students in the audience, but alas, this is the truth. His team's score can withstand any questioning from any angle. Besides, Xiao Ze also believed that the academy would definitely come forward, so he could just watch the show quietly. Sure enough, it was not beyond Xiao Ze's expectation. Just as Bai Cheng finished his shouting, an old voice sounded. Snort. Are you questioning the impartiality of the academy? Xiao Ze's team was under the supervision of Elder Yan and me throughout the whole process, or do you suspect that Elder Yan and I were covering up their team? An elder had a gloomy look on his face, used his fighting spirit to transform into wings, flew out of the attic, suspended in mid-air, and snorted coldly. Click. Bai Cheng's body felt like he was struck by lightning, and his face suddenly turned pale. Although the elders did not exert pressure on him, as a student of the outer courtyard, he knew how powerful the elders had power. For him to stand up and question the elder openly like this is tantamount to insulting the elder's face. Bai Cheng quickly bent down and apologized. Elder, please forgive me. I was carried away by my temporary emotions. I did not suspect that the elder was covering up others. The elder suspended in mid-air snorted coldly and ignored Bai Cheng. Bai Cheng hunched over, not daring to make any rash moves. Finally, Vice Dean Hu Qian flew out and said. I know you all have some doubts in your hearts, but Xiao Ze's team score is true. Among the magic cores he submitted, there is a 4th-level magic core. That the sound mixed with fighting spirit spread to the entire square. All the students' eyes were filled with shock. The 4th-level monster is equivalent to a powerful spirit fighter. The doubts in the eyes of all students quickly disappeared and were replaced by shock and admiration. Even Han Yu, who was also standing on the high platform but had not yet stepped down, looked shocked and looked at Xiao Ze. Fighting spirit. Han Yu looked at Xiao Ze's childish face, but she couldn't relate to the powerful fighting spirit. It's so unreal. After hearing the deputy dean's explanation, Bai Cheng suddenly stood up straight and looked at Xiao Ze with a horrified expression. Xiao Ze's score was true, which meant that he not only questioned the elders, offended the elders, but also offended Xiao Ze. The elders might not care about the villain's mistakes and would not bother with him, but Xiao Ze might not be the case. Hu Qian ignored the emotions of many students. Since he appeared, he would of course announce the final winning team of this Warcraft hunting competition. After 10 days of fierce fighting, the final winner of the Warcraft hunting competition has been born. That is Xiao Ze's team, with a score of 2,675 points, breaking the previous record. Hearing the announcement of the vice president, the unreality in the hearts of many students dissipated a little, and they felt a little bit of reality. Looking at the boy on the stage, many students knew, the record set by the boy, has never been seen before, and it may not be achieved in the future. 2 days later, Xiao Ze received the reward for this competition from the Vice President Hu Qian. One of his exclusive rewards is that his own medicine quota will be doubled. At the same time, 3 volumes of Xian-level advanced fighting skills were awarded, which were suitable for the attributes of the 3 of them, 6 pills to assist in cultivation, but at Xiao Ze's request, all of them were replaced with pills to assist fire attribute practitioners. Although Hu Qian was puzzled, he still followed Xiao Ze's wishes. Walking out of the library, Xiao Ze noticed that the students passing by cast a hot and admiring look at him. Some bold female students even flirted with him. Xiao Ze smiled back. Those female students who flirted with him were flattered and their faces suddenly turned red. However, Xiao Ze found that his smile, which was always successful and very suitable for perfunctory people, seemed to be a little ineffective. Those students seemed to be approaching him. Realizing this, Xiao Ze ran away with a gust of wind. The male and female students looked regretful. Coming to an unmanned corner, Xiao Ze checked the water attribute fighting skills that suited him. Xian level advanced Blue Sea Shock. Consume a lot of fighting spirit and release powerful waves. Seeing this brief introduction, Xiao Ze's eyes lit up. It seems to be a good match for the Blue Sea Whirlpool. I beg all readers to read it. Now I recommend you to read it in full. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you. Chapter 57, Retreat and Practice. Yao Lao recovers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Blue Sea Tide can summon powerful waves to attack the enemy, which will inevitably leave a lot of water. This makes up for the shortcoming of the slow condensation of the Blue Sea Whirlpool. With water, he can speed up the condensation of the Blue Sea Whirlpool. Could these two be a set of fighting skills? Seeing the 2 fighting skills matched like this, Xiao Ze couldn't help but guess in his heart, we have to try it out to know the specifics. Xiao Ze walked quickly on the road of Canaan College, and the students he met along the way all showed him admiring eyes. This time Xiao Ze learned his lesson. The smile that had been very effective before and could effectively perfunctory people has lost its effect, but it's better this way. Without maintaining a smile, Xiao Ze quickly walked away from them. On the way, Xiao Ze heard their whispers, like the first person in the outer courtyard, the first in the inner courtyard selection, and a Dou Ling strongman. Ever since Hu Qian said that Xiao Ze and his group submitted a 4th-level magic core, many students in the outer courtyard have already assumed in their hearts that Xiao Ze has the fighting power of the Dou Ling level. Many people even speculated that Xiao Ze was already a Dou Ling master. In this year's inner court selection, Xiao Ze might be directly selected as the first place. There is no suspense. Back to the waterfall in the back mountain, Xiao Yan and Xiao Xun'er were already waiting there. They each took a Dou skill suitable for themselves. Xiao Ze handed all 6 pills to Xiao Xun'er to assist in cultivation. Brother Xiao Ze, these, all for me. Xiao Xun'er was a little at a loss, looked at Xiao Ze, and then looked at Xiao Yan with some uneasiness. Xiao Yan comforted, Xun'er, don't worry that I am unbalanced. The volume of earth-level skills that Xiao Ze gave me is priceless. If it weren't for the facts, I would have thought that I was the childhood sweetheart who grew up with Xiao Ze. Xiao Yan made a joke, which made Xiao Xun'er's uneasiness disappear a lot. Xun'er, what you have to do is to eat all these pills, don't feel any pressure. Xiao Ze also touched Xiao Xun'er's head, and then said to the 2. I have decided. If you 2 can't enter the inner courtyard before the next inner courtyard selection, I would rather give up the opportunity to enter the inner courtyard. Ah. Why? Xiao Yan and Xun'er were a little shocked, and didn't understand why Xiao Ze made such a decision. Of course I can't bear to leave you 2. It would be boring to go to the inner courtyard alone. Xiao Ze explained with a smile. Besides, I am worried about you 2 in the outer courtyard. What if you are bullied? But. Xiao Xun'er opened her mouth and wanted to continue to persuade Xiao Ze. Xiao Ze had already raised his hand with a firm look. I have made up my mind. You don't need to persuade me anymore. What you have to do now is to practice hard. Let's pass the inner courtyard selection together and enter the inner courtyard to practice. Seeing Xiao Ze's serious expression, Xiao Yan and Xiao Xun'er could only give up and devote themselves to cultivation. If the two of them could not enter the inner courtyard, then they might as well not go to the inner courtyard. Xiao Ze knew very well that his greatest reliance was the feedback system. Only by staying by Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan's side and helping them practice could he get the greatest benefit. As for the inner courtyard, how many times does it have feedback? In the following time, Xiao Ze and the other two disappeared again. However, this time, the discussion about Xiao Ze in the academy did not gradually subside because of Xiao Ze's disappearance. Instead, it intensified. Because after the Warcraft hunting competition, the next academy-level event is the inner courtyard selection. Xiao Ze is an absolutely popular contestant in the inner courtyard selection. He also received the most attention and discussion. The discussion outside has nothing to do with Xiao Ze. Since the last time Xiao Xun'er took the body-shaping flame pill, Xiao Ze deeply understood, taking drugs by yourself. Not very useful. Xun'er taking drugs. Many benefits. That's why he exchanged all the 6 pills awarded by the Warcraft hunting competition for those with properties suitable for Xiao Xun'er. At the same time, Xiao Ze also used his own pill quota to exchange a large number of pills from the alchemy department that were beneficial to Xiao Xun'er's practice. Xiao Ze looked at the pill quota on the crystal card in his hand, which returned to 0 again, and couldn't help but sigh. Even if the pill quota is doubled, it's not worth spending. Pills are really expensive. Alchemists are really the best. Third brother, you should become an alchemist quickly. I also want to be the best. That just when Xiao Ze and the other two were practicing hard and preparing for the inner courtyard selection, the Xiao family far away in Wutan City, Xiao Yan had calmed down his anger at this time, and looked at the shadow opposite and said, "Can you really let me catch up with my fourth brother?" "Haha, of course. I didn't absorb all your Dou Qi in vain. With your talent and my methods, it shouldn't be a problem for you to catch up with your fourth brother." The transparent figure said with a smile, "Speaking of which, I often heard you talking about your fourth brother in the past few days since I woke up. Tell me about his specific situation." Hearing this, Xiao Yan was also angry at Yao Lao's words and rolled his eyes. "You don't know the situation of my fourth brother at all, but you dare to boast that you can let me catch up with my fourth brother." Xiao Yan said with some disappointment, and immediately decided not to pay attention to Yao Lao. "How can I know if you don't tell me? Besides, you couldn't even beat your fourth brother before, and now you've fallen behind for a while. It's as difficult as climbing to the sky to catch up with him." That when Yao Lao saw that Xiao Yan ignored him, he didn't get angry, but continued. "Old man, tell me, what is your method?" Xiao Yan was silent for a while. Indeed, under normal circumstances, he couldn't catch up with his fourth brother's cultivation progress. "I can make you an alchemist. You can have those precious elixirs that countless people in Duki continent want but can't get. You can even refine them yourself," Yao Lao said confidently. This was his confidence as a former medicine venerable. "Alchemist." Xiao Yan stood up in shock, and said with a fiery heart, "Of course." He knew how precious alchemists were, and they were popular among countless people in Duki continent. The elixirs they refined had infinite magical uses. Xiao Yan's throat was a little dry. He didn't expect that this old man actually had the identity of an alchemist. He couldn't help but ask, "What rank of alchemist are you?" I won't tell you this for now. You just need to know that I am hundreds of times more powerful than the most powerful alchemist in this empire." Xiao Yan was speechless by Yao Lao's boast. However, the strong confidence in Yao Lao's tone still gave Xiao Yan a glimmer of hope, and a little thought flashed through his mind. Is it that exaggerated? The most powerful alchemist in the Jia Ma Empire is the Dan King. A 6th-rank alchemist. Yao Lao rolled his eyes, knowing that this little guy was playing tricks on him and trying to trick him. He said casually, "Dan Wang. It's nothing in front of me." "Okay, tell me quickly, what's the situation with your fourth brother?" Xiao Yan looked at the transparent figure steadily, gritted his teeth and said, "I hope you can really help me. Before my fourth brother went to Canaan College, he had just broken through to the Grand Fighting Master, and he was 12 years old." Yao Lao, Please readers, please read it. Now I recommend you to read it after you advance. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you. Thanks to book friend 20230227811_BA for the monthly ticket support. Thank you very much. Chapter 58 Yao Lao's Shock. Xiao Yan's Obsession. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You said your fourth brother is a 12-year-old great fighting master, that Yao Lao couldn't help but ask Xiao Yan. If it weren't for the fact that the soul body had no ears, he would have thought he heard wrongly. Seeing Yao Lao's surprised expression, Xiao Yan felt infinite pride and a hint of bitterness in his heart. Yes, he told me personally. Xiao Yan explained Xiao Ze's situation clearly, from showing the strength of a 9-star fighter to leaving the Xiao family and going to the Canaan Academy to study at the level of a great fighter. It took him even less time to go from the realm of 9-star fighter to great fighter. Even the well-informed Yao Lao couldn't help but murmured with dull eyes. The room fell into silence. After a while, Yao Lao shook his head, with the same bitter smile as Xiao Yan's at the corner of his mouth. You little guy, you really created a problem for an old man like me. Your fourth brother's talent is extremely rare even in the entire Douchi continent. Xiao Yan raised his head and looked at Yao Lao in surprise. He has already tried his best to promote Xiao Ze's talent in his heart, but Xiao Yan knew better that there were more capable people and strangers in Douchi continent. It is important to know that there are people outside the world, and there is also heaven outside the world. My own vision is still shallow and I cannot judge where Xiao Ze's talent lies. In the Douchi continent, but in front of him was this mysterious old man who claimed to be a high-level alchemist, but he told him clearly that Xiao Ze's talent was rare even in the entire Douchi continent. Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel a trace of despair in his heart. From when his talent fell, Xiao Ze encouraged him, and then Xiao Ze exposed the strength of the 9-star fighter. In fact, Xiao Yan has already silently regarded Xiao Ze as a target of pursuit. Consider Xiao Ze as a target. Until the end, Xiao Ze went to Canaan College to study, and his level as a great fighter was exposed. As time goes by, the gap widens. This completely made Xiao Yan turn the idea of chasing Xiao Ze into an obsession. He also has his own arrogance, unwilling to lag behind his younger brother, and only survives safely under his younger brother's wings. Xiao Yan also wants to break through the shackles and soar in the sky just like Xiao Ze said, protect your cherished family and partners. Yao Lao looked at the disappointment on Xiao Yan's face and sighed inwardly. Little guy, don't be downcast. Although your fourth brother's talents are among the top in Douchi continent, it is not impossible to surpass him. There are many examples of late bloomers in Douchi continent. If you don't have much confidence from the beginning, it's better to give up as soon as possible. Hearing Yao Lao's words, Xiao Yan's heart was deeply touched. Yes, my fourth brother's talent is something I can't catch up with now, but the future has endless possibilities. Maybe I can really become that late bloomer that Yao Lao said. I understand. I will not give up, no matter how difficult it is. I will catch up with my fourth brother. Xiao Yan's eyes shone with the light of confidence. Yao Lao nodded happily. Okay, don't just talk and don't do anything here, hurry up and practice. The gap between the two of you is basically impossible to surpass him in the foreseeable few years. All you can do is try to narrow the gap between you. Xiao Yan nodded vigorously, sat cross-legged on the bed and began to practice qi cultivation. After a week of Douchi practice was over and he felt the Douchi really growing in his body, Xiao Yan couldn't help but get a little wet in his eyes. It's back. It's all back. My fighting spirit is finally back. Xiao Yan couldn't help but touch his wrist guard and felt the fighting energy gathering into the wrist guard. He felt a little doubt in his heart and asked about the ring. Yao Lao, the wristband that my fourth brother gave me at that time was said to be helpful in solving my dilemma. Is it true? That Yao Lao's figure reappeared and he nodded seriously. I didn't expect this thing to be given to you by your fourth brother. He seems to have a vague idea of the reason for the loss of fighting energy in your body, so he prepared this gift for you. There is a strange treasure inside that can automatically absorb fighting energy. It is from this strange treasure that I can absorb fighting energy to speed up my awakening. After listening to Yao Lao's explanation, a trace of surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's face. but he didn't expect it to be true. I felt even more grateful to Xiao Ze. Suddenly, Xiao Yan looked at the wrist guard on his hand. Yao Lao, you said this is a rare treasure that can automatically absorb Dou Qi, then. Yao Lao rolled his eyes. Of course he knew what the second half of Xiao Yan's sentence meant. Don't think about it. This rare treasure can automatically absorb fighting energy, but it is extremely difficult for practitioners to absorb fighting energy from it. If it weren't for my powerful soul power, it would be very difficult to absorb the fighting spirit from this rare treasure. After listening to Yao Lao's explanation, Xiao Yan gave up his thoughts. You'd better practice quickly. When you reach Dou's, you can practice fire attribute skills. Only then can you really start trying to refine medicine. At the same time, for your goal, you must also be mentally prepared. If you want to catch up with the talent of your fourth brother, if you don't have to put in hard training that is far beyond ordinary people, don't have any illusions. Xiao Yan nodded. Obsession is not a simple word, but it is the idea that is deeply rooted in my heart and I want to do everything possible to achieve it. Fourth brother, wait, third brother, I must catch up with you. That with this thought in mind, Xiao Yan closed his eyes and began to practice. Yao Lao looked at Xiao Yan who was practicing qi cultivation, but his face was a little solemn. Even with his alchemy skills, there is no guarantee that Xiao Yan can catch up with Xiao Ze. After all, Xiao Ze's talent, even in Zhongzhou where countless geniuses are born, is enough to stand out from the rest. Maybe Xiao Ze is ready to break through Dou Ling now, right? But that's fine. I also want to challenge myself and see if I can cultivate a genius who can surpass Xiao Ze. Yao Lao looked at Xiao Yan. The request this little guy made to him made his state of mind, which had been silent for many years, fluctuate a bit. Work hard, little one. In the evening, Xiao Yan quit practicing. After so long and in vain, now I can finally see the growth in cultivation. Let Xiao Yan practice heartily for a long time, and his spirit is still very excited. Okay, little guy, don't get excited yet. I've told you before that it's impossible to catch up with your fourth brother by ordinary means, so we need to supplement it with pills. But, doesn't it mean that in the Dou Ji Qi cultivation stage, the meridians cannot withstand the impact of the elixir? Of course Xiao Yan also knew about this matter, and he couldn't help but be a little confused. This is true for other alchemists, but not necessarily for me. Yao Lao said confidently. He reported a list of names of medicinal materials that were enough to make Xiao Yan feel extremely painful. 3 purple leaf orchids, 2 bone-washing flowers, 1 first-order wood-type magic core, they all cost at least 1,000 gold coins. Where will I get the money? Haha. This is your business. Alchemist is not only a profitable profession, but also a money-burning profession. Yao Lao's voice was full of teasing. Now, just over 1,000 gold coins will make you feel distressed. In the future, some of the materials for high-level elixirs will make you feel distressed. Xiao Yan, awe. Just when Xiao Yan was trying hard to move towards the fighter, Xiao Ze was ready to break through Dou Ling. I beg all readers to read it. Now I recommend you to read it all. I beg you to use your little hands and pull it to the last page of the book. Thank you. Chapter 59, Breakthrough Dou Ling. A completely different path. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Canaan Academy, waterfall in the back mountain. Xiao Ze looked inside his body, and the surging Dou Qi was like a river, flowing into the Dou Qi cyclone through the meridians, like a sea embracing hundreds of rivers. He has been at the 9-star Great Dou Master for a long time, maybe a few months. Breaking through Dou Ling is very difficult. Many people need to accumulate for several years before they can break through Dou Ling. In the original work, Xiao Yan still relied on the powerful energy of the earth core tempering milk to forcibly break through the Dou Ling barrier. According to Yao Lao, the energy contained in a drop of earth core tempering milk is equivalent to the energy that ordinary people can barely accumulate after half a year of hard practice. Xiao Yan consumed about 5 drops of earth core tempering milk. Excluding the energy consumed by the earth core tempering milk for body tempering, that is, Xiao Yan directly wiped out 2.5 years of accumulation time. This made Xiao Ze feel jealous of the earth core tempering milk, a spiritual object of heaven and earth. however, it is not yet time for the inner courtyard selection, and entering the inner courtyard is a long way off. He still has to focus on his own practice. As early as a month ago, Xiao Ze relied on the poison of Xiao Yan and his own practice. He wiped out this period of accumulation. Even so, Xiao Ze still accumulated. Frantically, and only planned to break through Dou Ling today, because he felt that breaking through Dou Ling might be an opportunity for his cultivation system to turn to another direction. The round Dou Jing in his body is a realm that can only be possessed by the peak of Dou Ling under the normal cultivation system. The Dou Wang realm is a watershed realm in the traditional cultivation system, because starting from Dou Wang, it means that the cultivator can mobilize the energy of the outside world. Therefore, there is such a saying among the cultivators, not as good as Dou Wang, you will end up as an ant. Just like the elders of the inner court of Canaan Academy, the lowest strength is Dou Wang. The situation in Xiao Ze's body is different. If Xiao Ze goes one step further, will he be like the original, with Dou Qi integrated into his body and become a Dou Wang, or will he generate a sea urchin Dou Jing and just be a Dou Ling? To be safe, Xiao Ze stayed in this realm for more than a month, feeling that his accumulation had reached an extremely solid point. He chose to break through. Xiao Ze slowly opened his eyes, and Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan were already waiting on the side. I'm ready to break through to Dou Ling. Xiao Xun'er showed a sweet smile, raised her little fist, and waved it vigorously. Brother Xiao Ze, I believe you can break through successfully. Xiao Yan also nodded to Xiao Ze and said seriously. Xiao Ze, I believe that no matter what kind of problem, it will be solved in front of you. Xiao Ze walked forward and touched their heads with both hands. Encouraged by the two beauties, Xiao Ze tiptoed and jumped to the center of the pool under the waterfall. There is a stone here, but the top has been cut off by Xiao Ze to create a stone platform. The water attribute of the pool is rich, which is conducive to his practice. Sitting cross-legged on the stone, Xiao Ze calmed his mind and adjusted his breathing. Under normal circumstances, he can try to break through to Dou Ling at this time, because the accumulation in his body has reached the point where there is no more progress, and the next step is Dou Ling. But for Xiao Ze, this is not enough. The system panel appeared, and more than a dozen reward prompts appeared in front of him. Of course, not all of them were the tenfold feedback of Xiao Xun'er's breakthrough. There was also the feedback of the pills that Xiao Ze exchanged for Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Xun'er took. Nearly 20 rewards have been accumulated. If I still can't break through the Dou Ling, then I can't do anything about it. After saying this, Xiao Ze's mind moved, and all the rewards were received in an instant. A large amount of feedback energy merged into his body, as if it had triggered a chain reaction. The vast energy in his body could no longer be suppressed and gathered towards the Dou Qi cyclone. The breakthrough began. At the same time, outside Xiao Ze's body surface, it gathered into a terrifying vortex of heaven and earth energy. The vast energy of heaven and earth began to flow into his body. The amazing energy vortex stirred the water, forming waves that hit the shore, making a huge sound. Such a movement made Xiao Xun'er and Xiao Yan clench their fists and look at Xiao Ze in the middle of the pool with some worry. The waves hitting the shore seemed to hit their hearts, making them nervous. Ling Ying, who was hiding in the dark, looked at the energy vortex of heaven and earth that was tens of meters high outside Xiao Ze's body, and his mouth was wide open. This level of energy vortex, even when he broke through the Dou Huang realm, he had never seen it before, right? If someone who didn't know saw it, they would think that there was a Dou Huang peak strongman who was breaking through the Dou Huang realm. Thinking of this, Ling Ying couldn't help but burst into tears. It can't compare, it really can't compare. Compared with the movement outside, the movement inside Xiao Ze's body seemed to him to be greater than the outside world. The vast energy rushed through his meridians, and made a deafening sound like the sound of waves hitting the shore in his ears. Even with the strength of Xiao Ze's meridians now, it felt painful. If it weren't for the feedback from Xiao Xun'er's elixir, Xiao Ze felt that his meridians might not be able to bear it. What the hell? How could my body contain such energy? Under Xiao Ze's introspection, these surging energies of heaven and earth merged into the Dou Qi cyclone. The Dou Qi cyclone accepted everything, and while spinning wildly, it extracted the essence of the energy of heaven and earth and threw out the impurities. The refined Dou Qi was absorbed by the Dou crystal that was spinning wildly in the center of the cyclone. The Dou crystal was like a bottomless pit, constantly swallowing Dou Qi. When Xiao Ze saw this, he was a little worried that the Dou crystal would burst. Breaking through a great realm is not a very safe thing. If the energy is too huge, the cyclone and Dou crystal will burst, then Xiao Ze's cultivation will be completely turned into nothingness. Fortunately, the Dou crystal did not show such signs. Not only did it not burst, it even conveyed the meaning of dissatisfaction. In this case, Xiao Ze had no intention of controlling it and maintained the highest intensity of energy absorption. Finally, at a certain moment, Xiao Ze felt that something began to grow in the Dou crystal. It was a very wonderful feeling. Xiao Ze could feel that once that thing was fully bred, it was the beginning of his own cultivation system, and it really went on another path. Crack! And at this moment, the round Dou crystal suddenly made a sound of breaking. This sound of shattering, as if it was a soul-shattering sound, almost made Xiao Ze's heart stop beating. Could the Dou crystal really be blown up? At this moment, a golden light shone through the place where the Dou crystal was broken, faintly mixed with colorful brilliance. The golden light illuminated the body. Xiao Ze suddenly felt that his body had undergone a qualitative change, as if it had sublimated. This change made Xiao Ze happy. If it wasn't a last-minute flash of life before death, it must have been successful. Sure enough, the sound of shattering rang out one after another, and the Dou crystal the size of a baby's fist completely broke apart. The broken Dou crystal fragments formed a unique void space in his body. In the space, it was the existence that the Dou crystal had bred before. Xiao Ze's perception probed into the void space, and suddenly a brilliant golden light came into view. A tree appeared in Xiao Ze's eyes, rooted in the void space. The trunk exuded a golden glow, bare, without leaves, only one colorful branch extends from the trunk. At a glance, Xiao Ze knows that this is the source of his power. Please read this book. I recommend you to read it in full. Please move your hands and scroll to the last page. Thank you. Chapter 60 The Tree of Origin. The trials are coming soon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This tree with a golden trunk and colorful branches is rooted in the void, but its height is less than 1 meter. However, as the fighting spirit from outside the void space continue to pour in, this little tree is also growing slowly but surely. The first time he saw this tree, Xiao Ze knew that it was the source of his power. The tree trunk represents the feedback from Xiao Xun'er, and the pure gold color symbolizes nobility and mystery. The colorful branches extending out are feedback from the little medical fairy. The hundredfold evil poison causes the colorful branches to extend even longer than the tree trunk. Xiao Ze sensed that he was close to this tree of origin. Under the golden light, Xiao Ze suddenly felt as if his soul had been sublimated. The soul strength is greatly increased. The improvement effect of this golden light is beyond Xiao Ze's imagination. At the same time, golden light penetrated the void space and illuminated Xiao Ze's whole body. The meridians, flesh and blood, and everything in the body are transformed by the golden light. The strengthening effect of golden light is far greater than that of the light blue light thrown out by Dou Jing in the Great Dou Master stage. Under the shining of this golden light, Xiao Ze's body and soul seem to be sublimated. Every cell in the body is cheering for the golden light to shine. Even the meridians carrying the rushing fighting energy began to no longer hurt, and there was a faint golden luster. As time went by, the golden tree grew to more than 1 meter tall, and the blooming golden light slowly began to fade. Only then did Xiao Ze come back to his senses from this sublimated ultimate enjoyment. What an amazing improvement! Xiao Ze looked at the small golden tree in the void space. Originally, he was worried that too much feedback power would cause conflicts within his body. But now the appearance of this golden tree has dispelled his worries. With Xiao Xun'er's feedback power as the backbone, and other auxiliary feedback powers as branches, they form his own tree of original power. As long as this tree is still there, the power will be in order. Xiao Ze looked at the golden tree and felt very satisfied. The increase in the height of the golden tree means that your cultivation level has improved. The star classification before this was actually very vague. Just like the fighting spirit in the traditional system, a sea urchin fighting crystal will be generated in the body. Each time one of the 9 spikes shrinks, it means that the level of the fighting spirit has increased by 1 star. Xiao Ze's mind withdrew from the void space and looked inside his body. I found that my whole body had undergone a qualitative change, and everywhere was shining, as if it was coated with a faint golden light. I wonder if it can be comparable to the improvement achieved by Xiao Yan using the Earth's core body tempering milk. Thoughts flashed through his mind, and Xiao Ze slowly opened his eyes. Xiao Xun'er and the little medical fairy, who had been waiting for 2 days and 1 night on the shore, breathed a sigh of relief when they saw Xiao Ze regaining consciousness. "Brother Xiao Ze, you finally woke up. It took a very long time for you to break through this time." Xiao Xun'er showed a relieved smile. "How long did it take me to break through?" Xiao Ze jumped up, returned to the shore, and touched the heads of the 2 people. 2 days and 1 night, it's longer than the time it took you to break through to the big realm before, Xiao Xun'er said seriously. "Don't worry, I have successfully broken through to the realm of fighting spirit. I have taken a crucial step, and the next step is a smooth road." Xiao Ze's words made Xiao Xun'er feel slightly confused. Dou Ling is not a crucial training level, so why does brother Xiao Ze attach so much importance to it? However, seeing that Xiao Ze had no intention of explaining, Xiao Xun'er did not ask in detail. At this time, the little medical fairy took out a piece of paper and handed it to Xiao Ze. "This is the message sent by Teacher Wolin through the messenger bird, saying that it is now the registration stage for the inner court selection competition. I want to ask you for your opinion." Xiao Ze took it and glanced at it, then looked at Xiao Xun'er and the little medical fairy. After these few months of practice, they have reached the level of high-level fighting masters. The progress is encouraging. It should be more than enough to get into the inner courtyard. After all, even among the top 50 in the inner court selection, not everyone can reach the level of a great fighter. Only the top-ranked students can reach the rank of Great Dou Master. The quality of students in Xiao Yan's class was considered very high. "Come on, please ask Teacher Wolin to sign up for all 3 of us. As long as you 2 don't meet me in the knockout stage, you should both be able to enter the top 50. Xiao Ze immediately clapped his hands and decided, and Xiao Xun'er and the little medical fairy had no objections. In the following time, the 2 of them continued to practice. Xiao Ze, on the other hand, is consolidating his own fighting spirit realm and at the same time becoming familiar with his own power. The atmosphere in the entire outer courtyard also began to become heated, and most of the topics discussed among the students were the inner courtyard selection competitions. The inner courtyard is the core of Canaan College. Countless students from the outer academy all have the goal of entering the inner academy, although they don't know much about the situation in the inner court, but some students who came back from vacation in the inner courtyard have greatly grown in strength. This makes the students in the outer courtyard full of curiosity about the inner courtyard and at the same time extremely eager to enter the inner courtyard, and those students who practice hard on weekdays are also gearing up to show off their talents in the inner court selection competition. This is an academy-level competition. As long as you can stand out, you will attract the attention of countless people. However, among them, there are only 3 influential figures in the outer courtyard that students discuss the most. They are the top 3 in the last Warcraft hunting competition: Xiao Ze, Han Yu, and Bai Cheng. Among them, Xiao Ze is the most discussed. Although Xiao Ze rarely appears in front of people after the Warcraft hunting competition, it can even be said that he has disappeared, but the enthusiasm of the students remains unabated. Countless students regard him as their idol and the object of their admiration. Even Canaan City outside Canaan College was attracted by the grand event of the outer courtyard of Canaan College, and many people planned to go to watch. The excitement continued until the day of the competition, and the students of the outer courtyard began to gather in a huge square. The huge square is circular, and there are stone stairs around the square that rise step by step, constantly spreading upwards, like a huge arena. The crowd sitting in the stands around the square can clearly see the battle taking place in the square. Those outside Canaan College came to watch the inner courtyard selection. It was discovered that there was a place that attracted the attention of most Canaan students. There was a class base there, and 3 figures were particularly eye-catching. 2 charming girls with different styles looked radiant. The 2 girls who made countless people's hearts beat fast were now surrounding a boy. The boy, wearing a loose and comfortable white robe, stood quietly in place, ignoring the countless eyes cast at him, and chatted with the 2 girls next to him with a faint smile. After asking the Canaan students, the people from Canaan City learned that it was the school's celebrity, Xiao Ze. He was so strong that many students even thought he was the only candidate for the top spot. This made those outsiders look very interested. They planned to watch Xiao Ze's competition carefully to see how good the proud son of heaven praised by Canaan College was. At this time, Xiao Ze took the schedule that teacher Woolen had just brought back, took a look at it, and felt relieved. The three of them did not collide with each other. As long as they defeated all the obstacles, the three of them could enter the top 50. Ding! A melodious bell sounded, announcing the official start of this year's inner court selection competition. I beg all readers to click and follow the book. I now recommend you to read the entire book. I beg you to move your hands and scroll to the last page of the book. Thank you so much.